The practitioners of the Jnana Marga or the path of knowledge would acknowledge that a lot of times the very practice or the very knowledge becomes a hindrance in their spiritual journey, because the knowledge which we get from scriptures and even from listening to masters or even other people, it just creates an illusion in our minds that we know. Instead of knowing, we come to a place that we know. And when this happens, the mind is acting, because the mind will use all kinds of knowledge debates to enhance its ego or its own presence or self. So what we must do is that instead of allowing the knowledge or just reading scriptures, we must start accepting that we will not reach by by knowledge alone. And the path of knowledge is always more difficult than the path of devotion or the other paths, even the karma yoga path, because we have to be very logical. We have to literally shed down everything, including ourselves. So it's it's a very difficult job, and it's going to take a lot of effort. So to balance this thing, I always suggest that at the same time, if you are on the path of knowledge, start cultivating love. Allow love to overflow. Don't just become dry, don't just become stale, because knowledge without love is like just a dry river. So there is a river, but it's not flowing, it's stale. And if it remains stale and if it really doesn't flow, then how it is going to, enter into the ocean? So most of the practitioners, I have seen people who are doing the Janna Marga or even the other traditional Vedantic approaches, for doing the same thing for like 20, 25 years, 30 years, and they are still entangled in that knowledge. They have not reached, they have not literally started abiding in it. Even the Vedantic masters would agree that love and knowledge are both interconnected, and cultivating both of them is really, really necessary. So, if we are on the path of knowledge, till the time we have not reached, till the time we have not realized our true nature, so there is a very high chance that we will not cultivate love. We will just become kind of arrogant or egoic, more enhanced our ego, instead of just allowing the untrue nature to overflow. So if one really needs to progress, it really needs to work with both the love and the knowledge. And if somebody is on the path of love, knowledge will arise later on, post realization, even through, love, or even through the path of knowledge. If somebody has realized its true nature through knowledge, love will come on its own. He will really not have to cultivate it, but it will come only after one has realized itself. Whereas in love, when one is loving, it's the wisdom starts slowly and slowly coming up. So it's a more progressive way if we go through the path of love. And honestly, love and truth are connected. um, Even in Vedanta, they say be more humble, be more grounded, pray. So they include all of these approaches, because they acknowledge that knowledge alone will not help us. Love must support that knowledge. So, all in all, if you are doing the Vedantic practices, or if even if you are on the following the Buddhist traditions, just be more accepting. And in love, when you are in love, you don't really judge the other. You simply allow the other to, you know, whatever that person or that thing uh, is just behaving, or the way it's approaching you. The problem in this whole approach of knowledge is, instead of making us more accepting, kind, and humble, a lot of times it just makes us more knowledgeable. So we are not actually growing. We are just having this illusion that we know a lot of things. We know about the Upanishads, we know about the concept of Brahman, we know about the Turiya Samadhi, we know about everything. But what we have forget is allowing the understanding to overflow, to allow us to behave from that understanding. So knowledge and love go hand in hand. They are not different, they are one. Even Ramana Maharishi used to say that the path of love and the path of knowledge are one. Only fools say that it's different. They are not. It's like a circle, a complete circle. If you go from the path of truth, you will reach love. And if you go from the path of love, you will reach truth. So, I'm not saying don't read scriptures, don't do your practices, do everything. But at the same time, acknowledge that this realization will not happen by our efforts, it will not happen by our practices, it will only happen by the will of the Lord. And for that, there a moment will come when we will have to shed everything, where we'll have to surrender everything. And a person only going through knowledge is not likely to surrender. It will just not happen. It's not going to happen, because a person who has ingrained himself with concepts, knowledge, and all kinds of uh, things and notions, he will feel that I already know it. So to whom I'm going to surrender? So this kind of this thing creates a very big illusion. So even the Upanishads say that ignorance leads to darkness, but knowledge leads to even greater darkness. So the reason behind this statement is this: because if we are only going through the knowledge, it can help us to reach to a specific point, but from there on we must start cultivating love, because from love, surrender will happen on its own. And when you are in that love, fearlessness will arise. The nature of godliness will arise on its own. You will not have to make any kind of effort to cultivate love. It will just come up. So the thing is very simple. Even if you are doing all kinds of practices, just start accepting, just start seeing the other as not separate from you. Understand that the other is also as same as you are. Another kind of practice which one can use is just go and look yourself in the mirror. Just look to yourself in the mirror. Just do a namaskaram, that is bow, bow before yourself, because even this body is not you. This body is the very manifestation of Brahman. This body, this soul, everything is that. Even the one searching for that is already that. When you are moving from this understanding, everything will happen on its own. You will not have to make an effort to be more humble. You will not make to have will have to make effort to do good actions, good karmas. Everything will happen on its own. This is the power of love. This is the power of accepting and surrender. When that um, love arises, a, a different kind of peace, a bliss you will, you feel even during this whole spiritual practice. In knowledge, there are times when a person may feel bliss due to meditation and all that of thing. But when a person is in love, the kind of peace that it shares and the kind of bliss it feels is just too much. It's just too much. I would say it's completely divine. So, with knowledge, you can reach to a specific point, but to really, really, realize our true nature, we have to understand that love is the only way. Because if we are not loving, we're not seeing the other as same as we are. We are not really following the path of knowledge.